Once again, heavyweight Greg Hardy versus Joe Hawkins.
Back to the daily grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Yo, this video ain't supposed to have nothing to do with Rick Ross. You know what the fuck I'm talking about? But there's no way y'all gonna just let that shit slide, boy. Y'all come to the comments and tell me, hey, you seen Greg Hardy won his NFL debut by knockout in the first round? Nobody said nothing about this Rick Ross looking boy. That shit was fucking hilarious when I seen the weigh-ins. I went to Greg Hardy's Twitter, to check out, doing some research before I did this video, a little bit of stuff. And I seen there was a video of the weigh-ins. First, I just seen the clip of the knockout. There's an ESPN, and that's one thing we got to talk about with this Greg Hardy coming to MMA. It's actually big news. I mean, for the fact that this, even though he gets bad press for some of the things that have transpired in his career and why he's actually not in the NFL now, the fact that his first amateur fight made ESPN is pretty big for MMA. I mean, think about if this guy was in the UFC. I mean, that's crossover. I know it might be the wrong press, it might not be the right guy. People might have their own opinions about Greg Hardy from his past, but still, you can't tell me some Bellator would 100% snatch this guy up. My guess. I mean, there is still Charles Felony Bennett out there who's having a hard time finding a home, but his he's not really the same story. This dude is an NFL star. He's fucking fresh talent to the MMA world. He has his past, but the thing about it is, I believe the charges were dropped whenever the person that was accusing him of the crimes or whatever did not show up to court. But the charges were looking pretty serious, man. You can do your own research on that. I don't remember it all off the top of my head, but even just watching the highlights, the guy that was doing if you watch the full video, which I'm gonna play soon, if you watch the full ESPN report on this knockout, like they hashed out everything that happened in the case, and even though he wasn't charged, man, the shit's gonna follow him. It was pretty fucking brutal, like the shit he was accused of. So and it involves domestic violence. And one thing I thought about before this, just like a side thought, it's like, you know what they always say to dudes, like, oh, you fucking put your hands on a woman, come do that shit to a fucking man. It's kind of awkward, I know, but like, that's what he's fucking doing. He got a lot of that. People would tell him, oh, you fucking put your hands on a chick, why don't you go put your hand, and he's doing it. I mean, and I don't even understand that argument, because who gives a fuck? Yeah, I'll put my hands on a man too, so I guess I'll just, you know what I'm saying? That means it's okay. I don't understand that argument. Are you saying it's okay to put your hands on a woman as long as you do it to a man too? You know what I'm saying? But then on the flip side, fucking, we got this whole equality shit going on, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I'm not even gonna get into the politics of all of that. But Greg Hardy is now beating up dudes in the cage. And here is a quick clip of his performance. It was a really fast fight. It was a 38-second knockout, I believe. Knocked out the Rick Ross looking boy in the first round. Fucking here, check this shit out. And look, before you check it out though, tell me that wasn't a heavy ass leg kick. But this was amateur. Keep in mind, it was not professional. He did say like a road to the UFC or some shit like that on the way to the UFC. He's got a long way to get there, but he is a heavyweight. Heavyweights have the most leeway as far as a new guy coming in, especially if you're really athletic. I mean, you're not going to be the favorite versus a Stipe Miocic or an Alistair Overeem or something like that. But the heavyweight division in the UFC, Bellator, none of them have like a super duper stacked heavyweight division. It's hard to find guys that big that that are ready to get in here and bang it out, in MMA. Like, check this out, and it's really hard to, I don't even know why it is. Maybe it's because the weight, maybe it's because they're so big, but if you look at the UFC's top 5, you probably 5 people you can call heavyweight contenders. But if you go under that, man, you'd be hard pressed to say, like, man, could this guy fight for the title, soon? Who knows? I mean, because in the heavyweight division, you don't have as much of a margin of error. You get fucking clipped in the heavyweight division. Them are some big dudes. You're going down. So Greg Hardy being a heavyweight, this is interesting, but here is the knockout clip, and if I think of anything else to say, I guess I'll come back on after that. But pretty much, he knocked somebody out in his amateur debut, so I think I'm done on here. But check it out. It is what it is. Let the full-time family know what the fuck you talking about in the comments after you watch this shit. I'm out.
Get Dan in there real good. I want him promoted heavily. I got you. Thank you. Got it.
Trying to reinvent himself. And of course, when you've got a reputation like he's had, maybe that's not necessarily the best way to go. But going up against Joe Hawkins, first round, Hardy leads with a 1-2 combination. Comes forward with a heavy leg kick. We have no idea how good Joe Hawkins was, but Hardy certainly looked like there might be a future here in this one. He wins his amateur MMA debut by knockout.
All right, there was the knockout of Greg Hardy, you know, former NFL star, knocking that guy out. I did think of a couple other things I wanted to say because, you know, Greg Hardy's past, it does follow him. I mean, and it was some pretty brutal things if you look it up. And I say brutal, but I mean, it's just like some pretty vicious things that he was charged with, like the actual charges. I don't know them off the top of my head. I mean, I really ain't gonna fucking take the time to go look them up. The charges were dropped, I'm pretty sure anyways, but it was looking bad until the witness didn't show up. So whatever the fuck that means to you, you do all that research by yourself. But the thing I wanted to say is, MMA coach, I don't even know how deep he is in the MMA world, but I do know Jay Glazer came out and spoke out against anybody. Oh shit, my fucking door. Be right back. Okay, so Jay Glazer, I know he I'm not gonna Google that shit right now either, but I know he's actually covered the NFL. I knew Jay Glazer before I was a hardcore fan of MMA. I seen him doing some analyst work for I don't know, ESPN or one of these sites, and he was covering football. So he covers football and MMA, and he came out whenever he found out Greg Hardy wanted to transition into MMA and said nobody should allow him into their gym. You know, he's gonna look down upon anybody that allows Greg Hardy to come over and transition here. We shouldn't accept these type of people in our sport and shit like that. So Jay Glazer was pretty outspoken against Greg Hardy coming to MMA, but Greg Hardy has found a home at American Top Team alongside champions fucking Amanda Nunes. I mean, you got Tyron Woodley out there. I mean, American Top Team is a really renowned gym, and they've got some championship fighters. I believe Joanna just moved out to AT&T a camp or two ago, but she's no longer the champion after that Rose Namajunas upset. But with that being said, Greg Hardy had a successful MMA debut. Tell me what you think about the knockout, and tell me what you think about his future. Can he make it to the UFC? Being, he's gonna be very athletic, big, strong, powerful, and he's heavyweight. Or do you think, what about Bellator? I mean, Bellator's the next best option, but I think he's got his eyes on the big stage, the UFC. But will he make it up there with the Sharks? Who knows? The UFC's ain't nothing to fuck with. With that being said, hit subscribe if you're new, share this video, and let the haters know what the fuck you talking about in the comments. I'm out.
Bye, Felicia.